Bror Fredrik coming at you with another video. You saw the thumbnail. Today we're going to talk about the cost of living in Las Vegas and how it is getting completely out of control. I figured I would cover this topic because I hear so many people say it's their lifelong dream to move to Vegas. They want to move to Vegas someday, move when they retire, move to Vegas, just like everyone else, just like I wanted to move to Vegas. But before you consider moving to Las Vegas, you might want to consider what we're going to talk about right after this. And we're back. I'm going to head down the strip. I'm kind of taking the back way. I figured I'd give you a little bit of taste of one of the other slight downsides of living here in Las Vegas, which is the Las Vegas traffic. I don't know if we're going to encounter much, but we'll see. Either way, it is a overcast day. Very, very rare here in Las Vegas, and the weather's beautiful. It is 68 degrees, a little bit damp. That's one of the pluses. We get about 4 months of absolutely gorgeous weather, and then we hibernate, or at least I do. Now, bear in mind, when we're going to discuss the cost of living, the outrageous cost of living, or getting outrageous cost of living here in Las Vegas, I'm speaking specifically about Las Vegas. I know there's going to be someone out there saying, hey, Bror Fredrik, I pay much more, or whatever the case may be. I get that 100%. There's people who are coming here from California. There's people who are coming here from New York. And comparatively, I don't know if you'd call it a bargain, maybe Jersey. I don't know, bargain would be the right word, but the cost of living might indeed be cheaper. But to that, I will say, I'm going to do a little comparison of the cost of living now to about the cost of living 3 to 4 years ago, pre-shutdown, pre-current administration. Everything has changed. Yes, Las Vegas used to be an affordable option when it came to the cost of living. However, it's not like that anymore. So the first thing I'll touch on is the average cost of a home here in Las Vegas, which averages $450,000, which again might not be bad, might be great. I don't know. It depends where you're looking at. But from my perspective, for $450K, what do you get here in Las Vegas? You get a box on a postage stamp, nondescript, square, average at best in a cookie cutter neighborhood, most likely away from the heart of the town, so you will have to do some driving, no ifs, ands, or buts, and maybe 1,400 square feet at best, which is pretty freaking small. Now, you also got to take into consideration the homeowners association fees, which you'll most likely have to pay unless it's an older community, and the taxes here, the property taxes here in Las Vegas are indeed a little crazy. Now, I can speak from personal experience. Now, we're going to talk about the increases that I've seen in cost of living. My personal homeowners association fees went up in the past 3 years, 3.5 years, 500%. You heard me right. Mine went up 500%. For those of you who are not good at math, I'm paying 5 times more for my homeowners association fees than I did 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago. I am paying significantly over $1,000 per month for my homeowners association fees. All right, now let's discuss rent. A report just came out that said in order to afford an average 2-bedroom apartment here in Las Vegas, the income would have to be $70,000 or $70,000 a year, or approximately $35 per hour, in order to afford your average rent for a 2-bedroom. Now, 2-bedroom here in Las Vegas tends to be the sweet spot, because the 2-bedroom, if you went to a 1-bedroom, maybe you'd save $150. If you went to a 3-bedroom, it kind of jumps in the other direction. So the 1-bedroom really isn't worth it for an extra 100, maybe 200. You get the extra bedroom, maybe a bathroom. So the 2-bedroom is always used as a sweet spot, and I'm going to use it as a sweet spot too. Now, that report also goes on to say that is a 34% increase since the shutdown. Now, I beg to differ. I would say that's about a 50% increase. At one time, someone making $35,000, $40,000 could definitely afford a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment here in Las Vegas. So let me clarify a couple things. When I say the average apartment, now the average apartment, 2-bedroom apartment here in Las Vegas, is approximately $1,800. You can find them from $15,000 to well over $4,000, but let's talk average, to about $2,022. So I'm going to call the average 2-bedroom, 2-bath $1,800 in a decent neighborhood. And what do I mean by decent neighborhood? Well, a neighborhood that when you get home, you most likely will not have your apartment robbed. You will most likely not get assaulted. You will most likely not have to drive 45 minutes to get anywhere from all the way in the north, or all the way in the south, or all the way in the east, or all the way in the west, because you can find some bargains on the outskirts of town. A place where no one's going to steal your catalytic converter. So average, not a great neighborhood, but most likely you're not going to get robbed or whatever. You know, you can kind of live in peace, but there'll still be some things that go bump in the night. So that would cost about $1,800. Now, bear in mind that the same apartment 3.5 to 4 years ago would be anywhere from $900 to $1,100. So the price has indeed doubled. It has doubled in 3 years for the rent here in Las Vegas. Now, what do you need to qualify for an apartment here in Las Vegas? Most places will require that you take home 2.5 times whatever the rent is. So in order to qualify for this $1,800 apartment in a decent neighborhood, your take home has to be $4,500 a month. Now, some people might say that's nothing, but if you're working a $12 or $15 an hour job, you're not even coming close to making that kind of money. So that's what you need, 2.5 times. What you also have to consider is the apartments have hidden fees as well that most people will not talk about. Most people don't even advertise it until you get down to the nitty-gritty and you go to sign a lease. What are these hidden fees? Well, even though it's just an apartment, you'll still have to pay for CAM, which is common area maintenance, which is the lights and the landscaping and all the rest of it. You don't own the place. Their responsibility to keep it up? No, it's not. You have to pay for it. You have to pay for your trash. You have to pay for your sewer. You do have to pay for your water. And of course, you have to pay for your electric. So your fees on a monthly basis can be anywhere from the low end of about $100 a month on top of your rent to about $300, depending on the amenities. Like if you happen to have a gym, or if you have some barbecues, they'll charge you a gas fee, even though you never use the damn thing. That's just how it goes here in Las Vegas. The other thing you have to understand about Las Vegas is homeowners and renters, and specifically renters, do not really have any type of protections here, consumer protections that you would be afforded in other towns and other places. They can literally toss your ass out on the street on the 5th or 6th day. They will give you a pay or quit if you're behind on your rent on the 5th day. On the 5th day, and on the 6th day, you can be evicted. And they will come and toss all your shit in the street. Or they'll just seal your door and you will be arrested if you try to get back in. They can get rid of you that quick. And in other places, it's 30 days. It could take 60 days, 90 days, whatever it is. Here in Las Vegas, under 10 days, you're out. You are out if you miss a rent payment, and they will absolutely demolish your credit. So those are some things you do have to bear in mind. Now you can say, well, how does anybody live? The whole town can't possibly be making $35 an hour because, the porters here, barely make 20. The strip really doesn't pay all that well. Well, since the beginning of renting, I would presume here in Las Vegas, they've had some of the loosest occupancy laws or restrictions or ordinances, whatever you want to call them, of just about any place I've ever experienced. You can literally have 6 people living in a 2-bedroom apartment legally and on the lease. There's 2 bedrooms. So that means there's 2 people in each bedroom and 2 people sleeping on the couches in the living room. Legally. In most places. Some it's only 4, some it's 6. So now that has become a thing here. Roommates, grown-ass people with roommates, people in homes renting rooms for $500-600, whatever the case may be. But you go to apply, and 4 people go and apply, 2 couples, whatever the case may be, goes and applies for the apartment. They all get approved. They meet the $4,500 and they get the apartment. And that's how it is. But you have to cohabitate with other people. And these places are well aware of that. And I don't know if you could say encourage it, but that's becoming standard operating procedure here in Las Vegas, that people just get together and they rent apartments. So the concept of living alone, you gotta have your money right here in Las Vegas, making at least $35 an hour if you want to live alone. And even at that, with the way things are, which I'm gonna continue down this list of the things that have gotten outrageous, you'll be getting by at best at $70K a year. So let's talk about some other things. Insurance, auto insurance, very expensive here. And mine personally has doubled in the past 3.5 years. The town is known for car theft and accidents frickin' galore. There's so many accidents in this town. People give 0 Fs, like this guy in front of me. It's a kind of a dangerous city to drive in. So the insurance rates tend to be higher. Mine have personally doubled. I'm paying hundreds a month for my auto insurance with a clean license. My homeowner's insurance has almost doubled in the past 3 to 4 years too. And I have no claims on it. It just keeps going up and up and up. And like I said, the homeowner's 5x what I used to pay 4 years ago. All right, next up we have food. This might surprise you. Food. We have, again, another report came out. We have the 2nd highest food prices in the entire country. And we're only second to Hawaii, which needs everything flown in and brought in by boat. People say, well, you're in the middle of the desert, so, everything has to be trucked in. California's, 3 hours away. It's not like, we're on a deserted island. So that's no excuse. But the food cost here is freaking bananas. Like literal bananas. It's crazy. I go back. I always keep a budget. That's how I know these prices are accurate. go back 3.5 years ago, previous administration, pre-pandemic, whatever, I was averaging $275 a month for myself, my food, which would include my sundries, which is the occasional deodorant every couple months, some Arm & Hammer, detergent, some soap, and the things you need around the house. So not just the things I'm gonna consume. So that averaged about, whoa, these roads are beat up. That averaged about, just bear with us a second, so I can get over these humps. So that averaged about $285 a month. Some months $310, other months $250. It comes out to an average of $275, $285. What am I paying now for myself with sundries? $655 is my 1 year average that I am paying now for food and sundries. So that has more than doubled. So this whole BS about 10% food inflation is utter and complete horseshit. And that is, that does not even include eating out. I do not eat out. I make my meals at home. I brown bag it when I have to. I mean, I'm not eating prime rib every night. I've cut back. I've literally cut back on some of the things that I eat, that I enjoy to eat, in order to stay under $700 and $800. So I'm actually cutting back on how much I eat, what I like to eat, and it's still more than double. I don't see a stop in sight. If you want some examples, our eggs are about $7 a dozen. Milk, you could buy some on sale occasionally for $3.50, but you can find, if you went to like the 7-Eleven to buy it real quick because you ran out at 2 a.m., maybe $12 for a gallon of milk. Average price being about $6 to $8 for a gallon of milk. Food cost here, again, not eating out, just at home, costing me over $650 per month. And that's with cutbacks. I'm not on ramen. I'm not doing rice and beans quite yet, but I have cut back on the quantity and the quality of what I'm getting. So food costs absolutely nuts. I can't even imagine what, say, a family of husband, wife, and 2 kids, what is that? $1,500 or more? Freaking yikes. And as you know, we also have one of the highest gas prices in the country. I just paid $3.79 for a gallon at the bodega near my house, which is the cheapest. You'll find prices from $3.75, $3.79, like I just paid, all the way up to about $4.15. There's been highs of like $5.50 in town. Bear in mind, 4 years ago, we were all paying, even here in Las Vegas, $1.65. So gas has gone up $2 a gallon. It's gonna triple. Speaking of tripling, here's one that'll shock you too. Electric. Oh my goodness. Now, some houses do have gas, and gas has tripled or quadrupled the price of gas. I do not have gas, so I have nothing to compare that to. Everything in my place is electric, and I am paying now in the winter what I was paying in the summer 3.5 years ago. It's literally triple. I am absolutely frightened to see what my electric bill is going to be in the summer. Yes, I do run my air conditioning a lot. I like to be comfortable. That's one thing I'm not compromising on, is the comfort of my body when I'm in my home. So I will run it, and I anticipate my electric bill for the summer. What's going on here? Being somewhere in the neighborhood of between $600 and $700. No shit. And my home, I don't have a McMansion. I have a modest home. little over 2,000 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's probably going to be, based on what I'm seeing now in the winter, I'm going to call it at between $600 and $700. It's literally tripled in the past 3.5 to 4 years. It's outrageous. And they don't even tell you when they're going to do it. They just keep going back to the state or whatever commission gives them approval every 2 or 3 months and asks for an increase. That's our power company. They're just like, hey, we need more money. Okay. And they just get, okay. Time after time. They're not putting the brakes on it. We have to pay for expansions that are taking place in Summerlin and an expansion that's over here. Meanwhile, out of the same breath, they're talking about how it's all renewable energy. Oh, it's all renewable energy from the sun. Isn't that supposed to save us some freaking money? What the heck is going on? But don't even get me started. They decided to give bonuses to all their employees. You know where they got it from? They just tacked on another $4.57 to my bill this month, so I could tip their employees. That's our power company here. So I can tell you by personal experience that in the past 3.5 to 4 years, my personal bills have at the bare minimum doubled. I am paying thousands, not 8,000, thousands more just to live here in Las Vegas than I was 3.5 to 4 years ago. I would say in order to be comfortable here in Las Vegas and have a life where you're not counting every single penny, where you can occasionally go out and have a drink here and there, when you can have friends come to town and not be afraid to go out to dinner with them, you got to be making at least $100K if you're going to have a 2-bedroom apartment and any kind of life. And I'm not even talking about having a car. Toss a car payment on top of that, but I'm digressing. So figure that you need to make at least $100K, or you as a couple or whatever the case may be have to be making a bare minimum of $100K just to get by. Yes, you could go very, very low budget. You can find a 1-bedroom in a kind of shady ass part of town for maybe $800, trim a little money there. You could eat rice and beans and trim a couple hundred off your food bill. You know, if you don't have a car and you only need to go once in a while, Uber here is freaking outrageous, so you're better off with a car, but I digress. You could shave off a couple bucks here and there, but your quality of life is going to blow. You're going to be in the entertainment capital of the world, watching YouTube on your phone in your studio apartment as your catalytic converter gets robbed, out front of your place. So, yeah, I would say you want to move here with the way things are now, $100K. $100K, and it better be a stable-ass job because, like I said, you don't pay your bills here in Vegas, there is no consumer protection laws. You skip out on 2 electric payments, they're terminating you. You miss 5 days of rent, they're kicking your ass out in the street. The marshals will be there before your friends are there to help you move. It's that type of place, and it's always been that way because of the transient nature of this town. They've always sought to protect the property owners and the casinos and all the rest of that because they always viewed the average person as, how would I say, a transient liability, and nothing has changed since. So again, I'll repeat, outrageous increases in 3 years. I would say everything went up between 50 and 100%. Can confirm. If you want to know any specifics about prices that I can only go by what I'm paying, drop something in the comments and ask me if you want to know what my cable bill is, my cell bill and all that stuff. I'm not going to cover all that, but go ahead and drop that in the comments and I'll do my best to answer those questions too. So, do you still want to move to Vegas? I'd love to have you. I'm not trying to discourage you, but all I'm saying is It's not the bargain it used to be. It used to be a bargain. It used to be cheaper to eat out than to go and buy groceries. I mean, the times have changed. The people who come here, you tourists, you know how expensive it is just to be on the strip. But that has also mutated its way into the local populace, because this is no longer the town of living cheap and living it up. Now you got to pay the cost to be the boss. So I'm going to invite you to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell button to get notified when I do this again, which is at least 5 times a week. And if you want to support the channel, I got all kinds of links in the description that you can click on if you do indeed want to support me. If I'm bringing benefit to your life, I'd appreciate it in kind. And you guys are awesome. And on that note, Bror Fredrik out.